Hello, Star Wars Galaxy of Hero players. This is Andatesh Ordo, and today I'm going to be doing a video on the Phoenix Squad. They finally today, on October 3rd, released the updated, or they decided to release the update info on Phoenix Team. So they've gotten a lot better, and there's a lot of things I like about it, and a lot of things I dislike about it. Let's put it that way. For the most part, I do like the changes, and weirdly enough, some of the changes actually works to where Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum could still be potentially a Phoenix character. I know this sounds weird, but you'd have to hear me out later on when I talk about each ability that helps out. So, and first off, Zeta Abilities, I'm kind of iffy on them doing it, but I can't control that. That's the team themselves. Kudos to them. I'm glad they listened to everyone about needing to rework Phoenix. Unfortunately, some of the reworks, I kind of wish this team was just an Omega team, to be honest. Maybe the Zeta upgrades maybe are worth being Zeta, but I don't know. I just feel like Phoenix should have been a team that's just Omega only. There's nothing that way. It's a little easier team to actually have early to mid game. Of course, I don't know how this new rework will do against the current meta. Maybe it'll actually pick up, especially with what's going on with them. So let's go ahead and get into it, and I'll talk about them as I go. Also, the last video I did is Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum, and excuse me. And in that video, I talked about what if Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum was a Phoenix member. So yeah, and a lot of I recently did it last night, right before I started my grave shift, and then I woke up to this, and in that video I said I was going to do a kind of another thoughts on how to rework the characters, and I may actually add a little bit of that into here. But outside of that, I'm kind of glad they've done this rework, because, I kind of look forward to seeing, how it works with test accounts from like Mobile Gamer, Arnold T, those guys will actually probably, kind of do some in-depth views on them. Maybe change their rankings on their little board from Master to Jedi Master or something like that. The squad in general. So, yeah. So let's go ahead and get into it. So play to strengths is now a Zeta. Call another target ally to assist. This ally's attack is 50% potency and 35% deals 35% more damage. If the target ally is Phoenix, dispel all debuffs and reduce their cooldown by 1, and grant 50% turn meter. Okay, so I will say Hera with Phoenix Uniques, they did not change that, which I guess it kind of makes sense. They work together. I still wish Hera did get a unique, like maybe giving some offense, critical avoidance. Maybe some health steal wouldn't have been too bad, like 10% health steal, 35% or 50%, between 35 to 50% critical avoidance, doing that to Phoenix members, and, half those amounts if Hera was not a leader, something of that nature. So yeah, I feel like it could be some improvement to this team a little bit more in the future, especially if you decide to play a couple of Phoenix characters down the road outside of a Hera leadership ability. But for the most part, they're really good, together. So going to Kanan's, so with this ability though, you're still calling an ally to assist. They're doing a little bit more potency. I think the last time it said 35% potency or 40 or something like that, and 35% more damage. But they also made it to where if the target ally is Phoenix, dispel all debuffs. The cooldowns are reduced by 1, which is great. I never even thought of that. When I go through, looking through, ideas of, my thoughts on how I could improve it, and maybe my ideas, get out there and don't, that kind of thing. Yeah, I think this is one I never even thought of. Granting turn meter is kind of a normal thing, but reducing cooldowns, that's huge. That's huge. That makes it to where they have a half a turn, or like they get 50% turn meter, and now they're gonna maybe get to use one of their strong attacks or something. Like maybe Kanan is now able to re-taunt, so he keeps taunting again, something like that. And then so that is Hera. Like I said, I still think Hera could have, wouldn't have been too bad if she got a unique on her own. But, you know, that's this is how they have it set up. I don't blame them. So total defense, Zeta upgrade, dispel all debuffs on Phoenix allies, grant... Oh, whoops. Yeah, let me start over. Let me read the final ability. Kanan dispels all debuffs on Phoenix allies, grants himself and target ally foresight and protection up for 2 turns. Also grants them all Phoenix allies defense up for 3 turns. Kanan gains 100% turn meter when each foresight expires, and other Phoenix allies gain 50% turn meter. Whoa, that is huge. And to be honest, you know, kind of reading through these, I will say they might actually be worth being Zetas, I will admit. But, you know, I still wish some of them were Omega. But, you know, we'll see how that works out. But this one's huge. Like, I've always talked about with Kanan that, you know, one of his abilities should be dispelling not targets, dispelling you know, all allies, you know, giving a chance to dispel all allies, which does help with the Phoenix team, because Daze, I will admit, Daze is no longer around anymore, which means this team, once I read through them all, might actually be more viable in the arena, because they're a counterattack team, kind of like Commander Luke Skywalker's team are. They do have a chance to do more damage. They heal themselves, which is really good between health and protection. You don't have a team that really gains protection up much. Like, you get like a character here and there that, you know, offers protection up, like Thrawn, but like the whole team can gain protection up if you have the right characters in. So this one's really interesting, I will say. So yeah, we'll go ahead and actually, I'm going to pause this for a second. Okay, I just realized I was off of my Wi-Fi because I kept getting pop-ups of everything. So yeah, I was going to look up the other Kanan and stuff, but I think I'll be doing that later. I'm going to just go ahead and move on. Sorry about that. Sabine, Demolish. You know, now deals physical damage and inflicts stagger on all enemies for 2 turns. Grant all Phoenix allies offense and critical chance up for 2 turns. This is an ability that does not happen, you know, has not happened yet. Also, it's another thing I never thought of is, you know, having them actually, you know, grant, you know, other buffs up to the team. So yeah, that's going to help. I will admit it's going to help. And I will admit though, this is you know, between, Kanan and Sabine's reworks, this is another reason why I can see, you know, Ahsoka Tano actually making it in, mainly because she's getting more buffs to you know, build up her whirlwind to where she could just whirlwind out a character, and that's really what you want to be doing, is whirlwinding out another character. But now that her unique is kind of meh, because, you know, we got Kanan with a, you know, a cleanse now that can help cleanse, but she helps cleanse too, so that's always good. Expose target enemy and inflict additional exposes on random enemies for each other Phoenix ally. This attack can't be countered or evaded, so they kept that the same, and deals 15% bonus damage for each Phoenix ally. If this attack scores a critical hit, reduce Sabine's cooldowns by 2. Whoa, they really made Sabine even worthwhile. Like, she's really good on a Phoenix team, let's put it that way. Now, I do hope, I know this sounds weird, but I do hope whenever they decide to add Mandalorians into the mix, which I'm going to save that for another video. I have done a what ifs video. I do hope that this ability also works with Mandalorians, not just Phoenix, because she also works with Mandalorians. If you get my drift. So, but yeah, this is a really good move, like staggering all enemies. If someone else does, oh wait, no one else does any. Anyone does a basic attack, there you go. The basic attack actually will get rid of turn meter with stagger. That's really good. I like that. And now we'll go to Ezra. Ezra really got a boost, a decent boost, and he's going to help Jedi out a lot. Which I'm surprised that one of the 2 things they didn't do with Ezra and Kanan is, you know, help support Jedi a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm not saying a whole lot, just a little bit. Like, they help Phoenix the most, but they still help Jedi teams a little bit. Especially if you want to use a Jedi team and you got Kanan and Ezra. So, but we'll talk about that in a second. So, the Flourish ability deals physical damage to target enemy and dispel all buffs on them. If the enemy has no buffs, this attack cooldown is reduced by 1 and Ezra gains 75% turn meter instead. Ezra gains defense up for 2 turns. That's pretty good. Like, he's gaining defense up. It's going to really make the team a little more interesting. Or, you know, especially being a Jedi team. You know, he's granting himself defense up, and if he's with Master Yoda, he's giving defense up to the whole team through Master Yoda. So this is a really, really good ability for sure. But yeah, it gains 75% turn meter. I think it was before 50% or something like that, 60. I like I said, I have to look those up. But for the most part, you know what? This is the new, so we might as well just leave it as that. Anyways, so, but yeah, like I said, I wish their uniques at least did, like, you know, Jedi get half these amounts or something. So let's go ahead and go to Zeb. Now, Zeb got an interesting one. Staggering Sweep deals physical damage to target enemy and stagger them for 1 turn. So we got another stagger. If the target has no debuffs, this attack does 100% more damage with bonus damage equal to 20% of the enemy's maximum health, and stagger can't be resisted. So that's good. So seems like that's one of those abilities that can't be resisted and will go through a tenacity up, I believe. It's kind of like not R2D, Han Solo's little stun, but maybe it actually can be resisted with that at least. But it can't be resisted on a normal basis. If the target is buffed, this attack ignores armor. If the target is debuffed, gain 50% crit damage. This attack can't be evaded, and Zeb gains 10% turn meter for each active Phoenix ally. So they get up to 50 unless they're doing some sort of event. That's up to 60%. So yeah, that's this in a nutshell. You know, that's really good. Like, he is a tank, so, you know, that didn't change or anything. But, you know, giving a tank more damage never hurts. Gives them a chance to do more damage. We'll see how that works. Now we're going to talk about Chopper. Chopper is one I've been really wanting to talk about on this. So the other reworks are great. They do some great things. So we're going to go ahead and talk about them. So, or at least for the other characters. Now this one, like these updates are really good. They do help with droids now, which is great. That's what we needed. So let's go get into it. So Reckless Fling deals physical damage to target enemy and grant a random Phoenix or droid ally. So they added the droid ally. So it applies to droids, offense, defense, or speed up at random for 2 turns with 60% chance to reduce cooldown of that ally's cooldowns. That is, you know, that's good. Like, it did it increased, instead of 50%, it's now 60% cooldown reduction chance. So that's good. We have a better chance of, you know, reducing allies' cooldowns, which this team has quite a few abilities that help do that, which is great. And it works towards droids too. That is awesome. I will admit, that is awesome. Of course, the only type of droid team I can see him on is a light side droid team. I don't see him on the dark side droid team. There's no droid he can replace. So, and you can watch the previous video I talked about. A few videos back, I actually made a video on, you know, kind of a what-if scenario of, you know, how to build a light side droid team, and I talked about that Chopper is one of them that needed a rework. So this fling ability does help. So at maintenance protocols now has start of his turn, Chopper recovers 15% of his max health. In addition, whenever he is damaged by an attack, he also gains protection up 15% if he didn't have protection up. Additionally, Chopper has 30% chance to assist when another Phoenix or droid ally uses an ability during their turn. This effect is not shared. This effect is not shared. So this means only only Chopper is going to get this assist ability, which it never hurts to have this type of assist with the upgrade to Reckless Fling. getting a chance to reduce cooldowns, grants offense, defense, or speed up. That's good. That's always good. But it now means that this one does not read. This effect is not shared. So that the assist chance is not shared with the rest of the Phoenix crew, which means they can't be extra assisting. I don't know how that will work out. Unless it actually does under Hera, but honestly, this this is a unique ability. I will admit, I could have seen also at least the top half gaining health and protection at the beginning of each turn, protection up, I should say. It would have been great to be assisted towards droids. You just imagine R2D2 getting protection up, it's just and gaining some health just by starting their turn. That's always what I've kind of always wanted, is to see that kind of improvement. So, but for the most part, that is the Phoenix squad in the nutshell. It's great. They'll work better. I'm kind of excited to see when Mobile Gamer or Arnold T actually gets their videos up about talking about, or actually with their test accounts, see how well these teams actually do against the current meta. A few characters have a little more daze chance. There's a lot of staggering, so they lose their turn meter. They have a better cleanse now. So, yeah, we'll see how they do. Now, I do want to talk about one thing that kind of irks me in a sense with Chopper, is his taunt ability. I think it's Cantankerous Clanker is what it's called. He taunts, and then as long as he's taunting, he has 30% evasion. I think a few changes they could have made with that, because Han Solo can tear through that with his basic, because Han Solo's basic can't be evaded. So, what's the point of, evasion up if, Chopper just dies like that? One thing I would say with that upgrade would be, well, I still would think it'd be kind of cool to have a taunt for 2 turns with 30% chance evasion, but as long as he's taunting, he can't be critically hit, would have been a nice thing, as well as when he taunts, he also gains himself defense up and maybe heal over time to make him, a little more survivable, being a taunter that's a support and not a tank, an actual tank. But that's my thought on that. If they decide to change that in the future, that's up to them. But for the most part, that is Phoenix Squad in a nutshell. I do like how the changes affected so far. There's going to be a lot more buffs being shared on the team. More characters are going to be able to attack more. It's going to be really interesting. I will admit, he's going to be interesting for sure. So we will see how well they do. I do say thanks. I will say thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments below, what do you like about these updates? What do you not like about the updates? Let me know in your opinion what you could see would be better. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate your guys' time, especially sticking out 18 minutes through. You guys have a wonderful day.